I'm awesome! And welcome to Davy's Awesome Stories, where I tell funny stories from my past or go on a rant in an effort to make you laugh. So recently, I was watching a movie where somebody was talking in their sleep and talking very coherently and giving a confession to like a murder, and it made me think that's always how they portray it in movies and TV shows and even songs. That when people talk in their sleep, they give these grandiose and very coherent confessions. Sometimes confessing to wonderful things, like the fact that he truly loves you, or that it is your son. Or they confess to really horrible things like, I committed adultery, or I murdered somebody, or I watched all the Twilight movies on purpose. But I couldn't help but think, man, this is crap. Because I've been around so many people sleeping and talking in their sleep, and it's never like that. Not even for me. I'll admit, I talk in my sleep too. And according to my wife, it's just like everyone else. Mostly mumbling that you cannot make out, and then occasionally something little will slip out that makes some sense, but not really because you have no context whatsoever. Again, just mumbling with one little coherent thing. Something like, tacos. And that's it. Why was I talking about tacos? You can guess I'm fat and I dream about food a lot. But still, what dream was I having? I don't know. Because the second I wake up, even if it's literally 1 second, if the wife asks me, so what were you dreaming about last night? The person very tired and very groggy will simply answer, I don't remember. I already forgot it. You said something about tacos. Well, that doesn't help. I don't know what I was dreaming about. I mean, clearly it had something to do with tacos. And now I want tacos. To be fair, though, there's never a time I don't want tacos. Like, if you meet me in person, don't even ask me, like, hey, do you want some tacos? The answer's already yes. Don't even ask me, like, hey, what kind of tacos do you want? The answer is yes. But back to the sleep talking. My wife does it too. I've heard her many times mumbling incoherently in her sleep. And that's all it ever is. Just simple. In the coming up on 13 years that we've been married, all the times I've heard her talking in her sleep, only once has she ever said something where I could make out even a little bit of what she said. But now it drives me nuts because to this day I have no idea what she was talking about. It was within our first few months of being married. Probably the first time I ever heard her talk in her sleep. Definitely not the last. And the only thing I could make out was when she said, just get him the purple toy. What purple toy and who was she getting it for? I will never know. This is a question that will go with me to the grave. Because, of course, as soon as she woke up and I asked her, hey, what were you dreaming about that involved a purple toy? I have no idea. Sometimes you'll hear some mumbling with that one little incoherent thing, and if you're lucky, someday it will be explained to you. Like I remember when we were kids, all the way up until my brother being a teenager, sometimes I would hear him talking in his sleep, and the only thing I could ever make out was, no, save Harold. But I will tell you, the person I did hear talk in their sleep the most that I ever heard, was my best friend since childhood, author Ken Lindsay. Author of the Gavin English series and The River Runes. Available at kenlindsaybooks.com. This guy talks in his sleep a lot. Like I've talked about in previous videos, he was my best friend who practically lived at my house every summer, almost the entire summer, except for the occasional weekend he would go home. And then during the school years, because we only went to the same school for 1 year, he would come stay for every break we had. Every spring break, every Christmas break, practically every one of those holidays where we get a 3 or 4 day weekend, he'd be there, and then the occasional weekend. This guy pretty much lived at my house as often as he could. And he would always sleep in my room, and I would constantly hear him mumbling a bunch of incoherent crap. Heck, even into our late teen to early adult years, crashed at my place a lot, and usually in my room on the floor or something. And it was in those later years that sometimes I could make out, no, Dave's dad, I'm not a burglar. Put pants on. To get that reference, you're going to have to go watch this video. But here's the thing, he was the worst because sometimes he would skip the incoherent mumbling and just say something very coherent that made literally no sense whatsoever. One incident, I remember I was 15, he was 16, because he had his license and we drove to a video store and we rented a movie that he wanted to see. I really didn't. It was a horror film, which I've talked about. Wasn't really that into horror films growing up. but he insisted on this one, and I was like, sure, whatever, we'll check it out. And it wasn't a very good horror film either. It was called Tales from the Hood. If you remember this horror film, it was basically one story that ultimately combined 3 other stories. And it turned out he didn't think this movie was all that good either, because he had fallen asleep halfway through watching it. Thing was, I didn't realize that he had fallen asleep. We were in the middle of the story with David Allen Greer, where it turns out he's an abusive stepdad. And in the middle of this, out of nowhere, Ken says, "I'd find out what's in the box and hit him with it." If you'd seen the movie, you'd get my confusion because there was no box. Now here's the thing, I didn't know he was asleep, so I accidentally woke him up going, "What box?" "Huh? What?" "You said you would find out what was in the box and hit him with it. What box?" "What are you talking about?" "You said something about you'd find out what was in the box and hit him with it. What box?" I said that out loud? "Yeah." "Were you asleep?" "Yeah, I was asleep. What can I say? This movie sucks." That's funny. What were you dreaming about? You know, I don't remember. Ugh! That's the most annoying part. Nobody ever remembers. The one that haunts me the most is also from Ken. Again, teenage years. I think it was after the Tales from the Hood incident, but not that much longer. I had just woken up, and at the time, I had a dog. It was my dog. It was a great dog. I missed this dog. This dog slept in my room at the end of my bed on the floor, but at the end. And every day I would wake up and I would sit on the edge of my bed and it would get excited to see me. I'd be petting it. And as I was petting my dog, I hear a statement that to this day irritates the crap out of me because I want to know so badly what it means. Ken Lindsay, clear as day, says the words, "Old lady on a fat guy's pie table." You heard that right. He said old lady on a fat guy's pie table. A statement that in and of itself makes no sense. I've never known somebody who had a table just for pies, but I imagine if there was somebody who did, it would be somebody who was very fat. But why would the old lady be on the pie table? Now here's the thing, most of the time when I hear somebody talking in their sleep, and if they say something a little coherent that I want to understand, I'm not going to wake them up. I'm going to wait till they wake up. But in this case, I woke him up, not on purpose, just simply like, what the hell? And he wakes up and instantly realizes what he just said and starts laughing his butt off. Just laughing incessantly. It was just as funny to him as it was to me. And after we stopped laughing and giggling, of course I'm like, okay, so dude, I gotta know. You have to remember, since you were laughing about it, what does old lady on a fat guy's pie table mean? And to my horror and dismay, you know, I don't remember. No, not this time. You can't tell me you don't remember. How do you not remember? You woke up laughing because you know you said old lady on a fat guy's pie table. What does that mean? Sorry, Dave, but all I can remember is that it did make sense in my dream. And to this day it haunts me that I have no idea what he meant by old lady on a fat guy's pie table. So there you have it. That's my story video this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, make sure to hit like, hit subscribe, hit the little bell so you get notifications for when I post new videos, and leave a comment. Tell me about some weird things you heard people say in their sleep. And tune in the next couple weeks because I got at least 2 more videos that have to do with sleeping. Love you guys.